And I'm Mike, and this is Mike and Mike's Movie Tips.
Our first movie today is Hostile, starring Christian Bale as a late 19th century army captain who is tasked with transporting a Cheyenne chief, played by Wes Studi, through some dangerous territories, him and his family. And Rosamund Pike plays a recent widower who's lost her family due to a savage attack by a different Indian tribe, and she goes along with them. This film is I guess would be classified as a Western. It's very very brutal at times, but also very boring at times. I would say this film could be described as a cycle of walking, violence, funerals, and repeat. And I think not even like twice, like 3 or 4 times. It wants to have a commentary on biases and violence, but none of it rings true for me, and the decisions the characters make, especially at the end, are extremely frustrating, don't make any logical sense just to push the narrative forward. I was very disappointed in this film. Aside from a strong performance by Christian Bale as usual, there's not much here to recommend unless you're looking for a slow and depressing time at the movies. It's 2 stars out of 4 for me.
You know, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I'm giving this a mild 3 out of 4 because the performances are so strong. And Scott Cooper has made some interesting movies like Out of the Furnace, Black Mass, and it's always been clear to me that he has talent. It's just like his movies were just all over the place. But with this movie, he's narrowed his focus on this group of people, mainly Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike. My problem with this movie is that in addition, it is overlong. About maybe 10 minutes could have been shaved off, but is that he concentrates on the relationship between Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike. And I've no complaints about either one of them. They're both great actors. I love seeing them on screen. But he's ignoring a wealth of dramatic material by only having, Wes Studi's character interact with him just a few times. But it's clear that the focus of his focus wants to be on, the changing relationship between,
Christian Bale
and Wes Studi. Yeah, he wants them to recognize that, people change, their biases, were wrong, and see that, see the humanity in each other, and that's fine. It's just not enough time was spent with them in order for it to pay off. But this movie, it did engage me. I wasn't bored, and yes, you're right. It is, it is pretty depressing and at times hard to watch. The opening scene, it with a family, brutally gunned down in a raid, including kids and even a baby. Fortunately, we don't see as much of that as you'd think, but it is pretty raw. The R-rated rating is well deserved, but yeah, I liked it.
I mean, it wasn't going to get much higher than because of the slow pacing, but the scene you just mentioned, that's a good example of really illogical decisions made. So, they say that they have a plan for when this happens.
Yes.
And apparently the plan is to run a little ways and watch. But then, even worse, Rosa Pike tells her husband, okay, they're going to take everything burned down anyways.
Yeah.
So he knows going out there himself versus this was it 4 or 5?
Yeah.
I mean, he has no chance. It's just like
he's sacrificing himself to give them a fighting chance.
Well, I felt like but then they sit there and then she stands there and watches. It was that bothered me. But what really bothered me was what was supposed to be the payoff at the end. So without trying to get into a spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay, this reminded me of my father years ago when he stopped smoking.
Mm-hmm.
He was after everybody who smoked. As soon as he stopped smoking, everyone who smoked had to hear from him.
Yeah.
Christian Bale is supposed to make this, transition to being this more understanding person. And
Yeah.
as soon as he runs into somebody who thought the way he lived, literally, probably less than a week before, it was time to make a decision that affected everybody in a horrible way. So it was, but it didn't feel like that was meant to be a scene where it was like, oh, look at how terrible your actions are when you don't change. It meant to be like, this is his redeeming scene where he shows that he's changed. But how ridiculous his and it is touched upon the brutality of both him and Wes Studi's character, although you never see Wes Studi because at this point he's an old man, but apparently
dying of cancer.
Yeah. But it's made a point that Christian Bale has witnessed his brutality. So
it might have been more effective had they shown him in his younger days committing these alleged atrocities.
Yes. Yeah.
And have them actually talk about it and really engage each other on, the ghosts from the past and the sins that they have both committed.
Right, yeah.
That's what I found was missing from this movie. But I'm not reviewing what it should be. I'm reviewing what is on the screen in front of me. And on that level, I kind of like the movie. I really did.
Okay, well, still 2 for me. Just like I said, it was the payoffs weren't there, and the pacing was a huge problem.
You're right. The movie is overlong. Yes. It is too long.